Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jess the MD. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are watching a highly requested episode of Scrubs. We are watching Season 8, Episode 2, My Last Words. Let's jump right in.
I don't have time for Joe, because once a year, Turk and I go to a great steakhouse and have the most bromantic night ever.
Dude.
And that magical evening was finally here.
Steak night! Give me some of that.
We all get so busy and so bogged down in our lives. It is awesome that JD and Turk are still finding time to spend time together and go out for dinner and have a good time. I think that's awesome.
I'm so sorry. Could one of you change the IV in 103?
So, Mr. Valentine.
Call me George.
George, what are you in for?
We think of hospitals as places where people go to heal, but they're also places where people go to die. And George was definitely going soon.
Ischemic bowel disease. I'm so sorry.
Hey, I've lived 70 plus years. I've had a great old time while I was here.
Ischemic bowel disease wouldn't necessarily be the sole cause of this person's long-term decline and eventual death. Usually with mesenteric ischemia, there are lots of surgical options that can revascularize the area and prevent further damage. This person probably has peripheral vascular disease or some more advanced form of vascular disease that is affecting his bowels, but is probably affecting all the other blood vessels in his body, which can ultimately lead to death.
I don't know why people are so afraid to die.
Tell me about it. When you're around death as much as we are, you kind of lose your fear of it.
It's one of the benefits of working here. Look, we're on our way out to dinner, but is there anything we can get you before we go?
I'd kill for a cigar. You know, I'm dying and I'm not allowed to have a cigar. What do the nurses think's gonna happen?
They're probably thinking you could accidentally ignite that oxygen tank and it would blow up the whole ICU, pretty much killing everybody here.
How about a beer?
Yes, do not smoke near oxygen tanks. Usually in hospitals nowadays, the oxygen is actually centrally located and you have outputs in each separate room. But if that's ignited, it's going across all of the rooms. And there are safety mechanisms in place where you can shut off the oxygen. However, if someone doesn't have time to actually enact those safety measures, it can be extremely tragic. It's interesting that JD and Turk are saying, you know, we've been around death so much that we don't really have a fear of it. I actually have to agree with them. Death really is inevitable for all of us. It's how people go that can be worse or better.
Incoming! Oh! Hey, guys. I assume you've already met my sharp young lawyer who's gonna help me with my will.
You said I could help you!
Oh boy.
All this work for nothing!
Ted! He means you.
Oh, poor Ted. Oh, every time he's on screen, I'm just like, oh, my heart.
Aw, man. I did this on my typewriter.
Oh.
I'll be back in 11 hours.
Why is Ted typing this out on a typewriter? I mean, computers definitely exist by this point, and you can type it out on a computer where you can backspace when you mess up. And also, when you rip up a copy, I don't know, you just print a new one.
Hey, are you working on George's will? Can you make 2 copies? We need one for his family. They're headed down here.
Family? He's leaving all his stuff to charity. He doesn't have any family. Not G! Oh!
Why would George lie?
I have no idea.
So he's all alone.
Well, what do you want to do?
George is all alone. This poor guy. I wonder why, though. Like, where is the rest of his family? What happened, you know? Does it really even matter? Probably not.
I know it seems callous to leave, but whoever takes care of George tonight will be just as compassionate as us.
Mr. Valentine, I'm Dr. Mahoney. My attending really wants me to connect with my patient, so if it's okay with you, I thought I'd get the ball rolling with a personal story.
Okay, you can call me George.
Awesome. I'm feeling it. So, George, last Friday I'm at a bar. I take this guy home. He's a little fat, whatever, right? Plus, chubsters are so grateful they usually try harder. Anyway, right in the middle of things, he's sweating and snorting like a hairy rhino, and I just start to hate myself. Like, really hate myself. So, without even thinking, I just headbutt him right in the face. Bam, clock him between the eyes, knock him out cold. So, that's what I got. What do you got going on?
That's a weird story to tell anyone, but definitely a weird story to tell a patient, and an extremely inappropriate story to tell a patient. Most of the time, especially for me in the outpatient setting, we are able to go home and be able to at least somewhat separate ourselves from work. I think I'm always thinking about my patients to some degree. Sometimes you'll have a visit with a patient, or you'll have a patient in the hospital where you are really, really worried about them and you just can't get them off your mind. And yeah, those times will be the times where you give them a call to check in on them, or what JD and Turk are doing. They're coming back to spend some time with him, especially because Joe is his doctor. Yes, while work-life balance is extremely important, we're human, we're empathetic, we're sympathetic, we care about people. And so yeah, sometimes you're gonna be like, yeah, no, I'm going back to work because this person really does need me.
What happened to dinner?
We didn't want George to feel like he was a burden, so we had to come up with a great excuse.
Giant oak tree fell on the restaurant.
What restaurant?
Steak cookers.
Mastro's.
Oh, man. I used to eat there all the time.
Turk's upset because he thinks when George gets out of here, he'll drive to Mastro's and see that we lied. Now he's relieved because he remembered that George is about to die and he's never leaving here. And now he feels guilty for thinking that thought and he wants to punish himself physically, but he can't because we're with a patient. What the hell? You want me to do that, you know it.
Okay, fine, thank you.
That regression was fantastic and just so accurate. Exactly how I felt going through those steps.
So George, why'd you lie about your family coming to visit you?
No, I'm a grown man. I don't need anybody to hold my hand. Besides, you guys have better things to do. Hell, you don't even know me.
No one should have to die alone. Seriously, no one. Everyone needs someone there.
So no family, huh?
My wife died years ago.
Any kids?
Nope.
It was like pulling teeth.
And what you guys do for a living?
Barbara taught history. I coach football.
I played football. Yeah, defense, safety.
You?
Oh no, I didn't play sports per se, George. I was the mascot for the girls' volleyball team.
Really? You wear a costume?
Oh, great costume. I wore a bandana and a half shirt. At away games, I wore spurs, which in retrospect is sort of weird because we weren't the Cowboys.
You must have looked very beautiful.
They love to play into JD's feminine side. If he wanted to be wearing those things, then it is totally okay.
Step 2, just keep babbling until he finally opens up. I don't know how I want to go, but I do know what I want done with my remains.
Are you really comfortable watching TV like this?
Is it rowdy?
No.
Is it JD?
Yes.
You'll get used to it.
Oh my gosh, that is so freaking creepy.
Tell me, do you think there's anything after this life?
Definitely.
He already has our first day in heaven planned out.
We'll start with a dip in the milkshake pool. Then we'll work our way over to the cloud where beautiful women spend quality time with one another. You know, in a special way.
Like a lesbian cloud?
Not like a lesbian cloud, George. An actual cloud full of lesbians.
I just hope I die before my wife so I can have some fun up there.
Ugh, when Carla dies, heaven is going to suck.
These conversations are just the absolute best. It also makes me think of The Good Place.
So welcome to eternal happiness. Welcome to the good place.
And I know, spoiler alert, it ended up being actually The Bad Place.
They're never gonna call a train to take us to the bad place. They can't, because we're already here. This is the bad place.
But how The Good Place was originally presented, that's what all of that reminds me of.
I redid your will on a computer. And
Thank
to make
you.
it less depressing, I used a fun font.
Really, Ted? Fun font?
Ooh, I like seeing my name in squigglies.
Oh yeah, that's the font! Recognize!
Any lawyers, if you want to comment out there, does the font matter? I imagine that it has to be, you know, like a professional font, but maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm just assuming. Also, thank goodness he finally did this on a computer.
Hard to believe. My whole life boils down to these 4 pages. I wonder if anybody will remember me.
I think people's lives are so much more than what boils down to a few pieces of paper. That doesn't define him as a person. And he is, I am certain, worth so much more and has done so much more good in his life than what you can see on those 4 pieces of paper.
And finally, George only had one fear left to tackle.
At the end, is it going to hurt?
No, we'll manage any pain you have.
Well, how's it going to happen exactly? Maybe if I knew what was coming, I'd be able to handle it better.
Well, eventually it'll become harder for you to breathe. But you won't be gasping for air. You'll just feel more drowsy. And as the rest of your organs begin to fail, you'll just sort of go.
Wow, this is really heavy. Death comes in many different ways. Yeah, sometimes it can just be people's organs shutting down, they get sleepy, they start having difficulty breathing, or they're just not breathing as much. Usually, yes, those kind of deaths we can manage fairly easily and get them medications to make them more comfortable.
No, I know what you guys are trying to do. I just can't get over the fact that one minute I'm here and the next I'm not.
And that's when Turk and I told George how we really felt. George, I'm terrified of dying.
Me too.
And why'd you lie?
We fight death for a living every single day. We can't let it know we're afraid of it or it'll kick our ass.
There we are. Everybody's scared.
I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the answer. I think that a lot of people are scared of death, and there are some people that are not, that feel like they've fulfilled their reason for being here and they're okay with going. And I think this is just different for everybody. Unexpected death is really scary. A situation where you've done everything you can, I don't know. There are so many emotions that go with this.
Well, then what in the hell do I have to hope for?
Well, if it were me, I would just hope that my last thought was a good one.
That's it?
That's it.
You thought that was deep? That wasn't deep.
Sorry.
I'm over here dying. That's all you can come up with.
But honestly, is that so bad? Like having your last thought be a happy thought? I would hope that it's not something like you're scared or you're sad, or like I would want anyone's last thought to hopefully be a happy thought.
Turk and I spent the next few hours in that room just talking and hanging with George.
Guys, I'm getting a little tired.
Okay. Well, take a quick nap.
You guys will be here when I wake up.
Of course.
Hey, man. That beer tasted great.
George never did wake up. And even all that talking didn't make death any easier. At least not for us. Maybe in the end, all you can really hope for is that your last thought is a nice one.
So sad, but George went peacefully, and if the beer tasting great was his last thought, it was a happy one. And yeah, that's what you would hope for, right?
Action.
I have the same nightmare every time, that I die and leave my family and friends behind. I'm diabetic, so I'm probably gonna go before him.
Hopefully.
Dude.
I'm gonna have you stuffed.
Cole already said no.
I'm gonna stuff her too.
You promise?
I'm gonna keep her in the closet though.
All right, but don't tell her.
She don't need to know nothing. Put you right next to each other.
Cut. We can't use that. Come on.
Dude, that's horrible.
I'm so glad we had those bloopers for such a heavy show. That was freaking fantastic. This was an incredibly heavy episode. Wow, lots of things to think about and lots of deep philosophical questions to answer that I don't really think any of us have all of the answers to. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, comment below, subscribe to the channel. It really helps it grow out. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jess the MD. I really enjoyed spending time with you. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I will see you in the very next one. Bye.